Hey, it's Azriel Lawless, and once again, you find yourself square in Hella Vella, and you found another Lawless interview with another Vella author. Today, we have BY Simpson with us, and she is the author of two Vellas that I know of. She may have more, I don't know yet. Death Date and Hades Scent. And she's going to talk to us today about her writing and her serials, and that's what we're here for. So I say hi, Brandy.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right. So welcome to Hella Vella, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me about your writing and what you're doing out there on Vella. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Oh, you bet. You bet. And so I'll ask you the first question I ask everybody. When did you get started writing?
I got started writing, believe it or not, over 10 years ago. I didn't put anything out until last year. Um, I wrote my first story on Notepad on lunch breaks when my oldest son, who's fixing to be 13, was little, a baby. And only my close friends read that one, kind of a trial and error. Let's test this out. And then I got the idea for Hades Scent a couple years later and wrote that. They pushed me to put it out. It's actually ebook and paperback that I put out just October of last year in the midst of trying out Villa with Dead Date. So the whole publishing indie process is still very new to me, and I'm learning a lot.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, I am learning a lot. I'm learning a lot from the different authors that I talk to. And yeah, you can learn a bunch from these interviews because a lot of these authors have been doing the ebook thing for a minute, and know what they're doing. So anyway, so you got started about 10 years ago. You wrote Hades Scent about 8 years ago. And you had friends read it, do proofreading and stuff. And then, so you just sat on it, or you made an ebook out of it?
Well, I sat on Hades Scent for a couple years. After relatives and friends read it, I think I needed that confidence to go, okay, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it sit there? Or are you going to let other people read it? Strangers read it and get in your head. And that was scary for me. And I finally said, you know what, if you're not going to put it out there, you might as well just, not write anymore, because you've got to do that to be an author. And so I made it a goal last January that I was going to put Hades Scent out as an ebook and paperback because it was completed by the end of last year, and I put it out in October. And Villa just so happened I saw it come up, and I was like, I've got this other idea, Death Date, that I want to try to work on, and why not just put it on Villa and see what happens with that while I'm working on Hades Scent. So that's kind of what I did. I put it out there before launch. My first, I think I have 5 episodes or chapters of Death Date out when it went live for everybody, and I've just been adding on to it, and I want it to be an ebook, and I'll put it out as an ebook and paperback too. But so I was kind of doing both projects at the same time and hoping for the best and learning and going, that way with it. So
that's pretty cool. So Hades Scent, because it came out at basically the same time as the ebook, they let you go ahead and put it out as a Vella too?
Well, it's not on Villa. It's just an ebook and paperback. Death Date is the only Villa I've got right now.
I thought Hades Scent was oh man, I don't know what it's about, but couldn't you continue it on Vella?
I had thought about that. Their policies, I need to learn more about. I guess I wouldn't be able to put it on there since it's already on paperback.
Yeah,
but
no,
I
you can't put
thought about
anything
it.
that's ready up, but you could write because there's other authors doing this that have a book up already, and then they put a part 2 instead of writing the second volume and sticking it straight up on an ebook. they're writing it to Kindle Vella and then taking it and making it the second book in that series. You see what I'm saying?
Something to think about. I've got Hades Sense got 2 points of views, and one of them I want to kind of go back and do a backstory on him. So I may put him on Villa first.
Yes,
An idea.
yes. That would be great. That would be great. Because I think that's like the best use of the platform that you have available to you. And yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take, when mine get big enough, and take them straight out to ebook. So anyway, so tell me about, and I'm sorry, I had that wrong. So Hades Scent is one of her ebooks. It is not a Vella. So but let's talk a little more about Death Date. Where'd you get the idea for it? And what's it about?
Well, Death Date, the idea came to me. I've got a 1.5-year-old, and it really came to me. He was a newborn, 1 or 2 months old. And of course, you're up with babies a lot during the night. And I was just rocking him in the middle of the night. And, you think about life, and you've got this new life in your arms. And I thought, started thinking about, you had to say, but death and just life cycle in general. And so that just came to me, and I thought, what if you knew the day that you died? What if you were assigned that date? And that's what Death Date is about. It's a 17-year-old girl who on her 18th birthday will find out the day that she will die. And of course, it's a corrupted society. And what is she going to do about perhaps stopping that from happening to other people and herself? And so that's kind of where I'm taking it. I do plan on having a sequel to it when this first season gets done, and hoping to make it at least a two-part series. But that's kind of a roundabout gifs of what Death Date is.
So is it kind of like, so is it the society that puts the death date on you? It's like a lottery or something, and they say, okay, well, you get to live 37 years or whatever.
It's kind of like that. And they are taught as kids that their actions as children have a deciding fate on their death date. So, your decisions and what you do with them matter as kids. And so they're learning, well, this person's only got 7 months and this person's got 20. What did I do that's different from them? And, there's a lot of governments, they're overseeing everything, basically, in our environment. So
yeah, I'd have gotten snuffed somewhere around 12. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I wouldn't get very many years, I don't think.
I guarantee you I wouldn't. So how many episodes do you have in that one?
I just put out number 22. It came out last night, went live. I wrote it yesterday, and I was shocked that it went on there so quick, because
that is fast. Maybe we're back to getting fast stuff.
Yeah, I was back in with the other authors. It was waiting 72 hours or more here last month for an episode to post, and I was like, wow, it's fixed, So that one came on last night, and I'm hoping to get another one out within a week or so. It's hard with working and everything to try to do it once a week. I at least do it an episode every couple weeks minimum is, what I try to do. And Billa holds me accountable to that, because, they put on there, well, last update this and how many you've got on there, in the last 30 days. I'm like, okay, it's time to get going on this again, stay on task. So.
Oh my God, I know, boy, my stats look terrible. I had COVID and it kicked my butt. I mean, really kicked my butt. And, you know, even weeks after, you know, there were symptoms, it was, you know, you're walking around like a zombie.
Yeah, I bet. I can't imagine. I've gotten lucky, knock on wood, not to have that. So,
I went quite a long while without getting it, you know, hadn't had it. Of course, this is my first time in February, and man, just had no idea. It'd be like, you know, fifth of tequila and ass kicking and maybe falling down a couple flights of stairs, you know. Believe me, I'll be getting that vaccine. Give me that booster. I've been vaxxed, but I didn't have a booster. And
well,
so
you might convince me to go and get that booster because I've gotten the vax and I've been like, I don't know about the booster. Well,
get your butt
maybe.
out there and get that booster, because I guess it covers some of the variants, you know, which was what I got, was that horrible Omicron 2.0 variant that was only around Texas and Washington for a minute. Now I think it's everywhere. But anyway, this isn't, you know, this isn't really show about COVID, so I guess we better move on. So the next question I want to ask you is, what do you have any ideas for any new Vellas that you might be coming out with, even though I realize that you have a child, at least one child, right? Is there more than one or just the one?
I've got two.
Okay, so did I understand you have a 13-year-old and a 1.5-year-old? Did I hear that?
You heard.
No, we ain't gonna be seeing nothing from you. No, huh?
I started all over. Had to learn it all again.
Oh my goodness. Well, I waited almost as long as you. There's 9 years in between my kids, you know, but not quite what you got. 11 and a half.
Yeah.
Well, just prepare yourself, mama, because they basically don't know each other. They grew up with two different sets of parents. You might as well accept that now, even if you're with the same guy. There'll be two.
That's true. And well, me and my sister, we've got almost 8 between us. So it's like, when I was getting married, she was finishing high school. You know, it's just always been different phases in our lives, and we are as close as you can be with that many years, you know, apart from each other. So
that's pretty cool. That's good.
As far as other projects, I'm a little nervous about it, but I would like to dip my toes into romance, perhaps an adult story, maybe some smut. I'm doing my A stuff. So, you know, obviously you got to censor everything, or, you know, most things with YA, and, you know, the romance and stuff's kicking butt on Villa. And I'm like, I'm tempted.
Yes, it is. It is. It's a huge category out there on Vella, and I just am astonished by it. Not just that I'm not against romance or anything like that. I'm not. But man, some of these people, I have no idea that people can consume them like they do. You know, like 3 a week or something. A lot of the romance readers suck them up, you know. And the romance books, I believe, have gotten shorter than they used to be. So you're getting through them faster. Like they're calling a novel like 50,000 words. Well, I'm old, man. When I started writing, you know, back in the early 90s, you know, for myself, writing for myself, because I, you know, trying to, back in those days, you had to mail your shit out, right? And wait and hope and pray that somebody, you know, would like any part of what you sent them. And you would spend, you know, $150 on postage and paper and going to the copy shop and lottie wada da woo. And you'd get dick all. back. Or you get, this did you get with our blah, blah, what, and I did that for a little while, but it's really hard to do that. And that's another thing that Vella brings you, and indie publishing in general, right? Is
Yes.
that, hey, no more gatekeeper. Let the reader be the gatekeeper. And I like that so much more. But yeah, that was things were way different back in those days.
I bet it was. I'm just glad that the indies, have more of a support, from readers to put their stuff out. And there's been a lot of indies to make it big after they've put their stuff out. So that helps too. Hey, if they can do it, maybe I can do it too.
I've heard that taboo has been broken. Used to be that was a taboo. It was don't put your stuff out because no real publisher, no big publisher will have anything to do with you after that. Well, now the tables have turned,
right?
And really good writers and writers that are able to make huge fan followings are choosing to publish their own stuff and cut out the middleman, and make Amazon their middleman, And so now the traditional publishing houses are just going, maybe we could get one or two of them to come over here if we nice.
Now they've got to work to get them, published that way. And so I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, that's right. And people are giving up fewer and fewer rights to the stuff they create. And it's just, it's great in general. I just think it's wonderful. And so you started writing about, you had your story ready. You had Death Date, a few episodes, 5 episodes, I think you said.
5 episodes.
Ready to go when Kindle launched Vella. And so how did you find, let's see, I came on in September, but that was, I believe they launched in July of 21. So how did you find those first few months? Were people coming on and reading, or was it just
it was authors supporting authors mainly. I feel like the community is just so great and so supportive, and it still is. But the authors, the Facebook pages started sprouting up, and I would join all them to, hey, we're in this together. I'm trying to figure out what we need to do. And so I had a lot of author people and friends and relatives. A few of them would read it, but it got held up because Villa is just now available for Android users. A few months ago, maybe back in December, can't quite remember.
Yeah, I think it was November.
Yeah, November. And so a lot of people that I knew, unless they were going to get on the browser, wasn't reading it. But the support from the author community just pushed me to keep going, and then it just keeps growing. So I'm just going to keep on with it and at least finish out Death Date and possibly put out, the adult stuff, and we'll just go from there. I'm just riding it out with everybody else.
Now, if you put out the adult stuff or some version of that, would you use your current name? Because I believe that's your legal name, is it not?
It is pretty close to my legal name. I probably will do a different pen name on that.
Yeah.
Because I might not even tell some relatives and some friends that I've written it, and just put it out there and go a little school. Let the public and all the readers look at it, and then depending, I may fess up and go, yeah, I kind of wrote that. But we're gonna wait and see what happens.
When the Netflix producers or the HBO producers come and knocking on your door, you might confess to writing it then.
That's right.
I like that. I like that idea. So I will ask this too. Have you done any advertising, and how?
I've done some. I'm on TikTok. Everybody says to get on TikTok, and I had a personal account for a long time, and then I decided I'd switch it to an author account. And so there's a few things on there, a few funny videos just about writing in general. And then I'm on Instagram, so I do post for that, and I am on the promotion Facebook pages. I've ran a few Facebook ads for Death Date, but I'm kind of still learning that process. So I'm not putting everything into it right now. But that's kind of what I've been doing so far.
Yeah, I think we're all eager to hear, what's working for our fellow writers. And I think that's one of the most interesting segments that everybody's interested in. I think I just had another good idea. I think starting with this video, I'm going to listen to it and then find out where I ask about what they're doing for advertising and tell everybody in the comments that starts at 12 minutes and 14 seconds. Just fast forward on through there. So, yeah. So, okay. So not much. You haven't spent much then, right?
I haven't spent much on Death Date. Not yet.
Well, just not advertising either.
Not advertising very much aside from just social platforms right now.
Do you take advantage of the advertising that Amazon offers for Hades Scent?
I do. I've got a few. I've ran a few ads for Hades Scent. I've got one on Facebook and Amazon. They're working out pretty good. I'm just learning the ropes, but yeah, I think it's going okay. Just
That's
trying to learn.
good.
I want to take those free ads, the free courses, and get some books and just kind of really dig into the advertising aspect of
That'd be really cool. I'd like to share that with you when you get going on that.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to do that myself, because Kindle Vella provides such a wonderful launch pad. You get a paid launch pad while you are writing your book. And because you've been putting it out there, you've edited it very well. So it's not like coming back through one where you're just, it's the first time back through and you're just ripping your hair out. No, you polish those up and put them up. And, when you come back through it, I can only imagine, from having written a book before, I've written 2 others, but the editing processes were horrible. Coming back through them the second, the third time were horrible. But you get your episodes the way you want it. You have an idea where the story's going or the characters take you there. And you're able to go ahead and put that out there, get it read on Vella, then out to Kindle Unlimited, where you can take advantage of the advertising. Now, I wonder if they're going to give us advertising on Vella at some point.
I hope so. I wish that they would. I really want it to go global. We're still in the U.S. I think that would help us all out a lot too, if they would do international, and get that going. Hopefully, maybe they will. They seem like they are adding new things to it all the time, so they're not giving up on it. I just saw where you could do the survey questions on this episode that I updated yesterday. So I was like, okay, that's something new that they've put on there.
Isn't that cool? That's pretty cool. I was going to ask you about that, if you'd seen that or had a chance to use it at all.
I did. Yeah, I just did that first. The episode 22, the newest one that I did, I actually got to put a survey on there. So that was exciting. But
I think a survey and a romance would work so well.
Yeah. And going back to editing it before you put it on there, that's great too. But you also get feedback right away on the episodes. If somebody's reading it, I've got a few author friends that are following it, which is so exciting to me, because the one's got over like 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm like sitting at almost 400. That's amazing to me. I know it might not be a lot to other people, but and she'll
like
tell
a lot
me,
to me.
Yeah, hey, I really like this episode. I really like what you're doing with it. And getting that feedback gives you a push
It
two to
does, doesn't it?
one when it gets a little bit hard sometimes. So
There's a lot of little pushes there, like you were talking about earlier, that how many episodes have you seen updating the story, you know?
when I was trying to put Hades Scent out and last October, death date took a back seat and it was like hadn't updated in a month. I'm like, okay, I gotta fix this. I gotta get going back on this, you know. So
Yeah.
it makes you accountable too
It
to
does. It
put in
does.
gear.
And I love that about it. So you already said that you'd like to see it go global. I think everybody wants to see that. And I do believe that Amazon will do that, will be an eventuality, I believe.
Mhm.
So other than that, if you were the decider about what happens with Amazon Kindle Vella, what would you change, if anything? Pick two, because more than two becomes a bitch session. I've learned that.
What would I change? Okay. One thing that comes to my mind, and I think a lot of authors would agree, when you're searching under your categories that you've got your stories on, I don't think they've quite fixed the order of they claim that it's based on, you know, the activity on your story, if you're going to be on the first page of the search results or, you know, page 2, 3, or 4. I'm not sure if that's still working correctly. So that would be something that I would like them to maybe look into, because they say that it's fixed and everything, but I'm not sure that it is, because you've got somebody that's uh I know that's got a story. My story's got a lot of activity on one day, and it's sitting like on page 5 or 6, or at the very end of the search results for that category. So I think I would do something different with that if I was in charge of Villa, because I think there's a lot of authors that have voiced that same opinion as me about that, you know, particular problem that's on the platform.
That's interesting. I haven't seen that, but I've never made the bubbles, you know, those 3 bubbles that everybody's looking at
Mm-hmm.
for the,
No, I haven't either. I've never, that date's never been on there, to my knowledge.
yeah. So I've never made those, and in order to make those, you've got to be in the top 3 for a category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I've been like, I've some of my crowns have held on for a few days, you know, at the first of the month or something. I've gotten some of them, but they just don't hang on very long compared to some of the other stories, and that's fine. I just want people to enjoy and read it, and if I can eventually get like 1,000 likes on that date, I'd be really happy. It's sitting at almost 600, so you know, I'm just happy to be part of the program and the community and learning everything. I think that's valuable in
it is
itself. So
cool. It is cool. And the money's good. They pay well.
yeah, yeah. And I'm
It-
glad, I was relieved that they're keeping the bonuses for a while and not taking the extra money away from the free tokens people were getting.
right, right.
So they extended that out, and I was glad for that, because this is really helping me save up to put it as an ebook later on. So that definitely helps, because you obviously don't get that when you're trying to just put something out first as a paperback. You got to pay for it all up front. So this is a nice supplement.
I know it is good. It is good. I think most of us are planning to do the same thing with the money. Oh my God, I can actually buy a decent cover. I don't have to put my one on there that I crayon colored up, you know, because I can afford
A
anything else.
stock photo, and you can actually update it and make it look nicer and everything. So
There's an author on here who, um, do you know the story of Forest of Stolen Memories?
yeah.
Have you seen that one? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, you seen the cover on that?
Uh-huh.
Well, she just conned a friend of hers into letting her take a profile picture. She turned her into a cover. She said her friends all like, I didn't know you were going to slap my face all over Amazon. But she made a nice cover out of that too. That was a good cover.
Yeah.
So let's see. What's the next thing I want to ask? Oh, reading Vellas. So got a couple of Vellas you could recommend to other people?
I like Sticks a lot.
Ooh, yeah. Sticks keeps coming up.
Sticks.
STYX.
I think it's
IX.
Yeah, STIX.
Yeah.
I was reading thanks to the the Villa is it MASH or Madness competition. Death Date's in that right now, and I was up against Accidental Quarantine the other day, and I was like, what's this? Because this is another YA story, and I started reading on that, and I'm in love with it. And that's fun to just find different stories too on these promotional pages and all these different things that people are doing. Those are the two. And I also like is it Dark Secrets? It's Hoyt's with the grandma.
Family Secrets. Dark Family Secrets.
With the vampire grandma. That's right up my alley too. I love reading that. And I like the Stephanie Plum books, and so that humor is about the same. And he's the top favorite. That story is a top favorite of mine. So.
Oh yeah. Actually, it is a top favorite of mine too. And he was one of the first ones I read. It was all about those damn artificial vampire choppers, that you could see. It was about that cover. You're like, what the hell is this? You're looking at it, what? And even his also on Hella Vella YouTube, besides these interviews, I read the first chapters or the first episodes of lots of different Vellas. And I haven't gotten back to it since I've had the COVID, just because I haven't had the energy. But I think it's coming back. Anyway, I read the first episode of Dark Family Secrets in for that. You remember the first episode? Yes. It's at the county fair. And these two old women get in the ring, right?
Yes.
So funny. And anyway, it's the top one of those videos. Good. And you should go out and listen to it because it's funny when you're listening to it, I think.
I will. I'm gonna check that out.
Because like yourself, I've got a little bit of an accent.
Yeah. Just a little.
Just a skosh. And I was actually born in Oklahoma and lived as a little girl, grew up until I, married the first time at 18 years old, ripe old age. And anyway, he has got the small town South down. He's got it down. And so, yeah, I totally agree with you there. I'll make sure Hoyt listens to this.
Oh, good, because I really enjoy it. It's good to just, if I've had a stressful day, that's the kind of stuff that I like to read. And so he's kind of my go-to on Villa right now, is just to read stuff like that, because I just laugh at it. And he's got the humor and, all that just spot on with that story. I love it.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. And her barbecue. Y'all just gonna have to read it. We're not gonna tell you no more. All right, so those are your Vellas, and you've told me what you would do if you were the king of all Vella or queen of all Vella. What else can I ask you? Okay, I already know. I was gonna, I always ask the writers what's next, but you have got enough right now.
It's about all I can try to pull off right now. Just keep going.
Well, but I have really had fun with this interview. We're about to say goodbye. So the last thing I ask is, since I put down in the description here the links to anything you have out on Vella or Kindle or anywhere that is your writing. I'll put those links in there. What would you say to the folks who are clicking on them?
I just hope that you enjoy it. And they are both young adult. So the writing in it is special to me and um, dear to me because I've read a lot of young adult books. And so I kind of want to convey that genre really well. So I hope that you enjoy my work, and I'll take any feedback. I'm open to feedback. So, you know, just get in touch with me and, you know, we can discuss whatever you want to discuss about the work.
And we'll be sure and put her social media links in the description as well. This has been another Lawless interview. And for Hella Vella, it's Azriel Lawless wishing you a wonderful day. Take it easy and keep reading.